Hello, everybody. What a great day. I'm Jano Lieber, the MTA Chair and CEO, here with Rob Freed, the president of the Long Island Railroad, the guy who delivers that 97% on-time performance. We bless him every day. There's Quimel Arroyo, Chief Accessibility Officer. Where is Shanifa Riera? She's back in the office. She's on my remarks, but she's back. This is a great day for a lot of reasons, but one is we have my chairman, Senator Leroy Comrie, with us, and we bless him every day for helping the MTA to be in the position that it is in. Assembly Member Alicia Heineman, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you do. Our council member, Sylvina Brooks Powers, thank you for being here. The Queensborough President's Office is represented. Thank you for being here, Ms. Morrison. And my board member, we got to be nice to your board members. There's Melva Miller. She is my board member, and she lives in this neighborhood. And this is a station. You got to be nice to your board members. And we have Chris Leathers and Mark. Oh boy, I forgot Herbst. Oh boy. And Mark Herbst he's a great board member. He also represents the contractors. So if I want projects on time and on budget, I got to acknowledge Mark Herbst. Thank you for being here. And Chris Leathers, who represents on our board the workforce, and especially conductors and many others representing the SMART, and his boss, Anthony Simon, the general chairman of that great SMART union in Long Island. So a lot of acknowledgments, but a lot of folks are here because we're celebrating something really good. But before I talk about this great project, I'm going to do a little weather update because that is what's on everybody's mind.
The organization.
Well, it was on my remarks, so I'm going to go down and do it all one by one. Diana Rose, the Laurelton Farmers Market Association. Who's Diana?
Diana is over here.
Hello. Julian Snipe and Bess DeBedham and Blob Glover from the Federated Box of Laurelton. Thank you. I didn't think I had to do these, but now I'm going to do them. I'm going to do them. I'm going to do them right. Brandon Phillips and Charisse Parson from the Laurelton Operation Cleanup. Where Laurelton Operation Cleanup. God bless Laurelton Operation Cleanup. Clarissa James, Divas for Social Justice. Divas for Social Justice. I mean, these people have good names of organizations or what? And Michael Sanchez, TCU Assistant National Representative. TCU is another one of our bargaining units, our representative groups. Where's TCU? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Okay, did I get everybody? Because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm trying to be happy event. But speaking of happy, I have no responsibility for whether the city declares a snow day or not, kids, I swear. But I just was with Mayor Mamdani, and we did a weather update, and I'm going to do a little bit again because that is where people's heads are at. Let's talk. I spoke to the governor this morning. She declared a state of emergency for the whole state, but obviously the focus is downstate where a lot of the snow seems to be heading. So a couple of notes. As I discussed with the governor, MTA will be running all of its services. The railroads may adjust their schedule. I think that Metro North has made adjustments so that on Sunday there'll probably be about hourly service, and on Monday we'll have a slightly adjusted service. But everybody's going to be running. Rob, you haven't finalized your adjusted service plan?
We have some slight adjustments.
Slight adjustments, but everybody check, if you're riding the commuter roads, check train time. Subways, going to be running. Buses, 100% of our buses are going to get their wheels changed. They're going to be running. The bus system picks up the slack. We know how to prepare for these events, how to get our equipment in place, how to get our people in place. God bless the people who are going to work their tails off this weekend to make sure that we are ready. And we're going to be ready. But again, per the governor's instructions, the MTA will be running service on come hell or high water, whether it's 7 inches or 13 inches or whatever, we're going to be ready. This is not our first rodeo, and I think the mayor, his advice was stay home and watch a really bad reality TV show. I reminded him there is football on Sunday, folks. There's football. So the point is, if you are traveling, look at the MTA app. Look, not only is there a ton of information there on social media, on our digital screens that are in the stations, but you can actually sign up for personalized alerts on how your service is going to be operating. So please check the MTA app, sign up for the service alerts, and if you can, stay warm and stay home. Okay, on to the good news of the day. We are here to cut the ribbon on the all-new, fully renovated Laurelton station, home to 70,000 monthly riders. It's also an important bus connection point. The Q77, the Q85, the Q89. This is a hub for this community, as folks like Melvin Miller, who live in this community, remind me every day. Laurelton is part of the Long Island Railroad's bundled package of ADA upgrades. We're doing a lot of ADA upgrades throughout the city, subways, but also on the railroads. And it is the seventh station to be completed in this package, on time and on budget. Hear that, ladies and gentlemen of the press? On time and on budget. This is a new MTA, and we're very, very proud of that. The crews installed a new elevator, built a new pedestrian tunnel, also improved the path of travel to the parking lot, added a lot of ADA parking spaces, and redid the comms and the security systems, which involve relocating utilities. This is why when people say to us, what's the big deal about putting in an elevator? It's like, it's not the whole project. It always involves a lot of utilities and a lot of communications equipment and sometimes building new stairways, expanding the station. It is always a bigger job than just the elevator. I want to thank Jamie Torres Springer, who runs MTA Construction Development, is dealing with his daughter had an injury yesterday in a sports event, so he's not here, but he usually does it. I'm going to do it. Thanking the project team, the folks who actually delivered this project. For the MTA Construction Development, Tefano, Andrew Wilson, you know where you are. Where's that? They're hiding back there. Tefano, man who built the third track project that made it possible for us to run a ton more service on the Long Island Railroad, working with Mr. Anthony Simon and the workforce. Super successful project. The project CEO for the MTA was a guy called Jason Daybach, and where's Marie Jean and Poonam and Ryan Brezzi? Where are you? You're hiding back there. That is a Long Island Railroad team that delivers all the time. And Melissa Drompal. Where's Melissa? There you go. Way to go. We got young people at the MTA, folks, and there's some pretty good young engineers, and you are one of them. There's a contractor team, Sinalta, Scalamandri. The designer was Parsons Transportation Group. The PMC was Lero Engineering. That's the way we get these projects done on time and on budget, is everybody playing a different role participates. And the elevator folks at Mid-American are a part of our continuing success with these ADA projects. They are easy, on time, and on budget. We're getting them all done that way. A lot more to come. Long Island Railroad has $6 billion of capital work coming in this new MTA capital program. Thank you, members of the legislature. Thank you, Governor Hochul. Biggest capital program ever, very focused on ADA improvements, like the one we're celebrating today, but also a ton of state of good repair. We got 100. The Long Island Railroad was built in the 1820s. It needs a little love in order not to fall down. So we got these elevated track systems, these elevated structures here. They need to be attended to and made modern and brought into state of good repair. The power systems need to be upgraded. We need new train cars. That's why this capital program is so important. So ADA is a central piece of it. By the end of this capital program, 95% of Long Island Road stations will be ADA accessible. 95%, not too shabby. More to do across the system, especially in the subways. But the goal is that every New Yorker, seniors, parents and caregivers with strollers, people with disabilities most of all, everybody needs to be able to take advantage of this amazing transit system we have that is a lifeline. That's why the ADA projects are so special and so close to our heart. And because mass transit is one of the very few things that makes New York City affordable. I am proud that in this city, we spend way less of our household budgets on transportation than people in the rest of the country. A car is, mass transit is like 15% the cost of owning a car. And we are going to keep fighting to make sure that we keep transit accessible. We love the fact that we got that city ticket for people who are riding inside the city, right? A discount for people riding Long Island Railroad inside the city. Overdue. This MTA delivered it. So we're going to keep talking about affordability, how we're doing pretty good on that front, and we want to make it even more affordable. And with that, let me turn it over to Long Island Railroad President Rob Free.
Thank you, Jano, and thank you going through all those introductions. You saved me some work. I appreciate it. But I would also like to thank all of you for joining us today on this great community event as we celebrate Laurelton. Laurelton means a lot to the railroad. As you can see, we're out here in the freezing cold. The chairman rushed here from another event, and as we have a big storm barreling down on us, that's how much Laurelton means to us. Laurelton is a community that we're proud to be part of. The station was built here in 1907. That's how long we've been serving this community. And we sure do a lot of TLC for this station, as we just a handful of years ago, we completed a station improvement project here. And here we are again, with Laurelton becoming the latest station to become accessible as we move forward to making all 126 of our stations accessible. As the chairman had mentioned, at the end of this program, 95%. I think that deserves a round of applause in and of itself. This new elevator and the improvements at this station not only expands the reach of people being able to travel in our region, but also enhances the customer experience. With over 80 trains that stop here every day, there's not many places that you can see, with plenty of opportunities, and as the chairman mentioned, with City Ticket, makes it much more affordable. And we've only just begun with our capital program, enhancing our stations, with $1.2 billion alone allocated for station improvements. There's a lot more improvements to come. So I'd like to thank our partners at MTA Construction and Development, the project team, the construction teams, all of our accessibility advocates, our incredible employees who also help, and our elected officials who continue to support us so we can continue with these projects. So thank you very much, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to Senator Leroy Comrie.
See, my new communications person is getting me to the 22nd century. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. I want to give all the credit to the Federated Blocks of Laurelton Civic Association before I do anything else, because I don't want to get in trouble. And since I was an assistant to my predecessor in the city council, Archie Spigner, who represented Laurelton at the time, this was a request of the Laurelton community. And they never stopped protesting. They never stopped bringing it up at every district cabinet meeting, every borough president meeting, every city hall meeting. But in 2019, when I was honored to become the majority chair of the corporations committee, they read it and they called me first. They were one of the first calls I got before you called me, Jano, actually. So to let me know that now that I'm chair, this better happen. And that was in 2019, and they came to every meeting, the first hearings that we had with Senator Tim Kennedy, now Congressman Tim Kennedy, when they came out to Long Island. Laurelton showed up in force to let the Long Island Railroad know that it was time. So I just want to thank them for their consistency. And when there was some issues with how the design was going to be, they stopped calling me. They had all the numbers for the Long Island Railroad people directly. So just their activism. And those of you that may not know, Laurelton is one of the strongest African-American communities in the country, with so many people that are vice presidents and presidents of different companies, or civil service workers. We have one of the highest civil service worker unions across the board in the country as well. I'm honored that they put up with me, and I listen to everything they tell me to do. So I wanted to just make sure I started with that. Thank you to the Federated Blocks of Laurelton for your continued service. I want to thank also, while we have Diana Rose here, also, and Divas for Social Justice, and is Michael Sanchez here, the TCU rep? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I just met you. You're a newbie on the block, and whatnot, so it's all good. But I just want to thank the MTA and Jano Lieber. You know, since the Democrats have taken over the MTA and the chairmanship and leadership in the Senate in 2019, we have focused on making sure that the MTA gets what it needs. We've had a lot of discussions. We've had a lot of banter back and forth. But Jano Lieber, President Rob Free, and Jamie Torres Springer, and my colleagues in government have been really working hard to develop leadership and forward thinking in making sure that the MTA moves forward. The completion of the Laurelton accessory project is a meaningful milestone for Southeast Queens. As it was said, Laurelton is a lifeline for this community, connecting residents to jobs, schools, and medical appointments, and family across our region. For many people here, public transit is not optional, it's essential to daily life. And accessibility is important as well. You know, accessibility is more than infrastructure, it's about dignity, it's about independence, and it's about safety. It means seniors and parents with children can travel safely without unnecessary barriers. Riders with disabilities can move through the system with confidence, and parents, caregivers, and commuters can rely on a station that works for them. As chair of the Senate Committee on Corporations, Authorities, and Commissions, I take seriously my responsibility and the Senate's responsibility to ensure that public authorities like the MTA are delivering real viable results for the people they serve. Projects like this show what's possible when we stay focused on accountability and the everyday experiences of riders. I want to thank Jano Lieber. It took a while, but now we finally have a capital dashboard that's online that's showing how efficiently the MTA is spending their money. As he said, this station was delivered on time, on budget. A couple of weeks ago, we opened the St. Albans station on time, on budget. I just want to remind people that we did the first new train station in Elmont on time and on budget. These things are not being talked about enough with the MTA. And we need to celebrate the fact that now that Jano and Jamie are there, things are working better. People have a different vision of the MTA. And we're going to continue. All right, don't go anywhere. All right, that's all. We'll talk about that as well. We got to keep Jano around. A lot of folks want Jano around this state and around this country, so that's a conversation. But as you guys know, people are stealing my staff left and right, so it's a good thing. Derek Davis is being. Anyhow, I'm off topic. Anyhow, but I'm just glad to be here today. I'm glad that we have a great working relationship. Anthony Simon, the president of SMART, is someone that has been truly pouring into me a lot of information about transit. I can't thank him enough. I always like arguing with Camille Arroyo about what accessibility is, to make sure that we have elevators and not escalators for people. That's an argument we continue to have as we work to make elevators more durable so that they're not breaking down all the time. I think it's an important conversation that the MTA is doing. And I just want to thank also the MTA for continuing to try to find ways to cut down on illegal fare beating. You know, the new machines, I've seen the videos, you've all seen the videos. If someone's determined to get through it, they're going to get through it, but the new ones are definitely better and have reduced the amount of excess folks that are running through the machine. So the MTA is trying. It's hard to move a monolith, it's hard to move a mountain, but they're trying, and as you heard, they have new engineers, they have new processes, they're working on making sure that their engineering is more up to date by going to conferences. That's something that we talked about as well, because we need to make sure that the MTA is delivering for people. As you know, as you try to move through the city and you see the congestion, it's more important that public transit is better than ever. I look forward to working with our mayor with his vision with public transit. We won't go into the details today, but you know, it's important that public transit is something that's accessible for all. So thank you all today, and again, thank the Laurelton community for your patience and persistence throughout this process. I want to thank the borough president also. For understanding and working with this. He's walking, well, not really walking, he's close to walking distance from here as well. He lives in Laurelton, and I especially want to thank the MTA workers and teams for making this happen. You know, it's great that we have a project that was done by MTA workers, and it shows that they can build things and make things happen and bring it on time and on budget as well. So let's just give them another round of applause. So thank you. I look forward to the Locust Manor and the Howler Station opening as well. And I look forward to York College and Parsons Archer and the Jamaica improvements that I got to keep working, folks. I got to keep advocating because, as you may have heard, the governor put $50 million into the start of looking at improving Jamaica Station. York College wants a sign up there like the other colleges have. There are other issues there that we're going to talk about as well. I won't go into them now, but we're going to do everything that we need to make sure that the Jamaica community and the Southeast community gets all of the transit improvements they need. Thank you all very much.
Amen.
I'm not sure what else there is to say because Senator Carmi said most of it. But I also, to my right, and to Bess and Judy's here today, and to Robert and Julian, it means a lot that when the constituents tell you what they want and it actually happens. And I think about the police station that we have, the 116 precinct, when people said, why would you want a precinct? And why do we need the elevators? Because accessibility is the name of the game. And on time and on budget. The MTA gets a lot of flack each and every day, especially in our house, in the assembly. But when we were talking about budgets and the speaker started reading off certain stations that wouldn't get the upgrades, they were all in my district, Hollis, St. Albans, and Laurelton. And I told my colleagues, absolutely not. We have to do what we have to do to make sure that the money stays where it's supposed to be in the MTA, to make sure we have the accessibility that we need in Southeast Queens. Because we know this community is a very heavy car community. So we have to make sure that we have the necessary transportation development so that we can continue to move the city of New York, because a lot of the people that live in this area do move the city of New York. So I want to thank your leadership, Chair Jana Lieber, Rob, Jamie, Anthony, and my colleagues in government, Senator Carmi, and my council member, Sylvina Brooks Powers. As we know, Laurelton is a hub of community, but for many of our neighbors, our seniors, parents with strollers, and veterans with disabilities, this station was a barrier, right, Julian? Yes, equity is about not just fixing an elevator, but making sure it's a state-of-the-art looking. We want the good things, right? Not just the patch. This is great work, and we can see that. And thank you to the employees of the MTA, like the senator said, in making sure that this happened. When we talk about the MTA and the budget, when you come up for the hearing, we're going to say good things too, not just the things that we know need improvement. But I just wanted to say that being on time and on budget is something we don't always say in government, but through the Corporations Committee, which our senator is the chair of, leadership matters. Having these positions matters, and making sure that the work is done always counts. So I'm really happy to be here. Senator Carmi said most of it. I just want to also say to the Southeast Queens community that we want people to stay here. We want people to be able to buy their homes here. And these are just the attributes that make that continuous. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's nice and brisk out here today. So it's wonderful to join you all this morning as we celebrate this incredible milestone in the MTA's journey to total accessibility across the city's transit system. To MTA Chair Jana Lieber, Long Island Railroad President Rob Free, and in absence, MTA Construction and Development President Jamie Torres Springer, who I send my well wishes to his child and the injury. I want to thank you all for your roles in overseeing and executing not only this renovation, but also the other accessibility projects completed in 2025. That progress matters. And today is proof of what sustained commitment can achieve. When we look at these upgrades, it's easy to focus on what we see: the improved parking lot, the new sidewalks, or the beautiful new elevator behind us. But the true significance of this project lies in the everyday impact it will have on our community. For people living with mobility impairments, parents maneuvering strollers, juggling with their kids, seniors with limited mobility, even though the seniors in Laurelton, I don't know what's in the water here, you know, they move around real tough, and riders carrying the weight of daily life. These improvements are not conveniences, they are necessities. Accessibility across our transit system ensures everyone traveling on it feels truly welcome and has access to all the incredible opportunities and sites across this great city. From Southeast Queens to the Bronx and beyond, ensuring accessibility across New York City's transit was at the heart of my mission as the former chair of the New York City Council's Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. And it brings me great joy to see much needed upgrades coming to my district. As we move into 2026, I'm encouraged by the momentum we're seeing. Momentum made possible by dedicated funding streams. These investments are helping projects move faster, finish ahead of schedule in some cases, and deliver real results for riders. But more importantly, they signal that accessibility is no longer an afterthought. It's a priority. So today, as we cut this ribbon, we're not just celebrating a completed construction project, we're celebrating progress on a shared commitment to a transit system that works for everyone in our city. I look forward to continuing this work together into the day when accessibility is not the exception, but the standard across the entire transit system. Thank you to the crews, the engineers, the advocates, our amazing community members that never back down to a good fight, who helped make this possible. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this milestone.
Seems like everything's been said already, but first let me reassure you that this weekend we are all prepared for this snowstorm. Just be safe, be mindful of the storm, and if you could stay home. But our track workers, all of our employees are ready for this storm, and we're going to take it on. Thank you to the Laurelton community for standing strong. For, born and raised in Queens, I love to see this, Senator. You've been a great leader. All the council members, you've been great at doing what you need to do to get the job done. We can't do it without the funding. We can't do it without the support, but we can do it. As you can see, Jano in his chair role has pushed, has given the support to Rob Free, Anthony Tefano, Jamie. We get this job done. Just give us the tools. I say it at every press conference. Look at this. It's beautiful. All we want is your support, your patience, and we will get it done. We thank the MTA police. They're always here for us. They're always supporting us. Let's hear for our MTA police officers who do it day in and day out. So thank you. To my team, I couldn't do it without the team of Anthony Lavorator, Chris Leathers on the board. They run the track department. They get it all done. But we work together. We work together on this project. There's no I's in this project, and that's why it gets done. We're going to keep moving forward. 95% is just not enough for us. We'd like to get it to 100%. Jano's going to get it there, and so is Rob Free, right? So that's where we're at. So at the end of the day, we support you all. We'll always be here. Mark, Herbst, Melba, all the board members. You're doing a great job. Just keep doing it. We'll be there for you like you're there for us. So thank you again. Thank you to the men and women of labor who are some strong people and are ready to work and are ready to get the job done. So thank you, everyone.
Good morning, folks. My name is Camilo Arroyo, and I have the pleasure of serving as the MTA's Chief Accessibility Officer. First and foremost, I have to thank the community members who are here. Thank you so much for your steadfast advocacy, for pushing us and keeping our feet to the fire. But I have to say thank you to Jano and the entire leadership team at the MTA for heeding the call from your voices saying accessibility matters. Accessibility is universal. And though, yes, we are today celebrating this accessibility project because over 1 million New Yorkers live with some form of disability. Over 250,000, like myself, some form of mobility disability. Over 1.5 million New Yorkers over the age of 65 who want to get out to the community, who are still working, who are still contributing to the fabric that makes New York amazing. But also, at the MTA, we like to say we would like to provide for the entire lived experience, from birth to dearth. We want everybody to enjoy fast, reliable, and safe, today accessible transit system. And that's what today is about. It is about belonging. It is about saying nobody gets left behind here at the MTA. So thank you all. Thank you, Jano, and the entire team. Unas cuantas palabras en español para los televidentes en casa. Hoy estamos aquí celebrando la apertura de esta nueva estación que de ahora en adelante es accesible para todos los neoyorquinos, porque no tiene que ser joven o ágil para poder usar el tránsito. El tránsito es universal y queremos que todos los neoyorquinos tengan ese acceso. Así que para mí es un placer estar aquí con Jano y todo el liderazgo de la MTA diciéndole que ustedes y todo neoyorquino tiene acceso al tren. Gracias a todos.
Qué bien.
All right. I know some of you have been looking to get on the 11:51, so we're going to keep this tight. On topic, Matthew Chase from Newsday. He's with Ed Quinn of Newsday TV. Matt.
How you doing? Two questions. Do you still have the 10-inch rule relating to shutting down service for snow accumulation? And for Mr. Free, can you elaborate on what you hinted at, that there would be adjustments? What are those adjustments? Can you be very specific? Thank you very much.
It's all dependent on the weather, right? As we've seen with this weather forecast, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. So 10 inches is something where we start to look at how the operation is behaving in the snow, right? You have wet snow, you have light powdery snow, windy conditions, all those factor into what we'll do with service. So as we continue to monitor the weather, we'll make considerations as to what the service plan will be going forward. But as far as Sunday, to the other part of your question is, some adjustments we'll make is Massapequa trains will be removed from the schedule, but we'll still provide half an hour service on the Babylon branch. The Port Washington branch will be hourly service. The Huntington trains will actually also be hourly as well. And this is so we can continue snow fighting efforts. When you look at a place like Cold Spring Harbor and Syosset, they become very problematic because of the topography of the location. So we need to continually implement our snow fighting efforts so we can ensure, because we want to continue to run trains, but safety is of the first importance. We don't want anyone to get stranded, so we always take that into account. That's paramount in our efforts. Well, Monday, it's still a little early. Let's look at the forecast a little more. As I said, you can see there's a lot of uncertainty with the weather forecast, but we'll keep everyone posted through all the media outlets.
All right, let's go to Kevin VC, Newsday Zone, News 12. Kevin.
All right, hi, thank you. Could you give us an idea of what kind of crews and equipment you'll have available Sunday night into Monday? And then also, it's going to be a long week of just bitterly cold weather as well. So can you talk about concerns about, rails, switches, things like that, and what's going to be done about that?
Well, this has been a cold season, and we've had some snow events as well. So things that we're doing with the switches, we put switch heaters on, we have third rail heaters, we have crews out, what's called graphiting the switches to make sure they operate freely. We devise our service plans to try and limit the amount of switches that we throw as well to try and prepare for it. We go out before the rush hours and manipulate switches before the rush hour so we don't have a switch failure, which will impact the rush hour as well.
Particularly Sunday night into Monday, could you just talk about the volume of crews? Will you have more than usual working through the night in order to prepare for Monday morning?
Absolutely. We'll have approximately about 1,800 employees on duty Sunday to deal with this storm and try to continue to provide train service. We actually had 736 pounds of salt just delivered for this storm alone. Since January, we've had about 1.1 million pounds of salt. So we're doing everything we can. We make sure we have all supplies. Look, we start planning for the winter in the summer. We start preparing. We have operating plans. We have checklists that we go through. All these things we start preparing. We're as ready as we possibly could be for this storm.
All right, that was Long Island's News 12. Let's go to WNBC. Jessica.
You know who else is ready for the storm? Sam Liebman, dressed as the Michelin Tire Man.
All right. Now you've been name checked. We're going to come to you next, but first, Jessica.
Sam, we love you. You look great. Jano, just about the subway preps, I know we're going to be seeing a little bit later today in Brooklyn, the de-icer train being prepared as well. Just talk about what we're going to see there and then the importance of that, obviously, and when and where those will be deployed, I guess, as we get going with the storm.
Listen, the bottom line is, this, as I say, this is not our first rodeo. We know how to prepare. We're happy to show it to the press, but New Yorkers need to know that we, as Rob said, we prepare well in advance. Everybody knows what their job is to do, whether it's the people who are going to chain up all the buses, the people who are readying those incredible de-icing trains, and also the snowblower trains that use aviation jet engines to push snow off of the right-of-way. We're going to be ready, and we're determined to maintain service. We've done it again and again, and we're on duty to deliver for New Yorkers and make sure that people who need to get around are able to get around. But always, part of what we're hearing from the governor, who's declared a state of emergency, especially, as well as the mayor, is if you don't have to travel, stay home and enjoy a football game or just bake some cookies.
All right, time for one more. Samantha Liebman, New York One.
So I was just wondering, for the subway, for the outdoor subway lines, what the threshold is for shutting them down. And also, you've got a lot of other infrastructure to take care of, stairs going up to, into subway stations, all of that stuff. How are you dealing with that, like getting the snow away and making sure that they're salted?
Like all New Yorkers, we're on duty to shovel snow, right? And that is the first priority, is to make sure that the walkways that the public use are attended to promptly. Listen, the forecast is we're going to have very, very heavy snow starting at kind of the midday on Sunday. So it's going to be a battle to keep those pedestrian areas clear, but that's job one. And everybody is ready to do what's necessary to maintain the right-of-way, even in the outdoor areas of the subway system, so that we can continue to run service. We obviously deal with those challenges as they develop, Sam. You know it well. But I just remind everybody, even if there are challenges in the rail part of our transit system, the buses are going to be out there, and every time we find out they are the workhorses of major storms like this, they'll all be chained and ready to go.
All right.
Threshold, though, of like when you
There's no specific threshold that we use, but the professionals know how to make determinations about when service starts to be impacted and how to make adjustments. We'll be running all of the operations control centers, the bus command center, the paratransit command center, and of course the rail control center, as well as the operations that Rob has in Jamaica and the equivalent for Metro North. Which will make those decisions on calling those audibles as needed.
All right, thanks, everybody. We've reached the threshold for making that 11:51 because Rob runs 97% on-time service in the railroad. Thanks, everybody. For those watching the live stream, we are going to feed you a B-roll package. B-roll is coming on the live stream. Thank you, everybody.
That I trust with every ounce of my being in being the ones that will deliver us the exact kind of city response we need to see this weekend. We are going to see more than 2,000 of those sanitation workers begin 12-hour shifts starting tomorrow evening. They will salt as soon as monitors plowing and salting in real time to ensure that every community, every neighborhood, every part of New York City will be
Yeah, I didn't know it was here until I got off the train the other day. The end of last week,